Hello, everyone. Welcome to Off the Charts, episode 62. Today's episode is going to be a little bit different than what I usually do here. It's still going to be sort of a ranking, but you'll see where I'm getting at here. My friend Steph suggested to me on an email, says, "Well, why don't you do the best year of the best year that albums came out?" I'm like, whoa, that's gonna be tough, man. There's a lot of years out there. So I thought to myself, well, how about I do an episode, the best of the 70s, and I pick my best year, and then the best of 80s, pick this, and so on and so on. So today I'll be doing the 70s, and I'll be picking the best year I find that had the better albums. Not necessarily the most albums that I own, but the best ones overall. Turns out that the year I picked has the most albums that I own also. And this isn't really easy to do here. I had to go look on Google a lot. I'm trying to find the years these albums, but I believe I got everything right here. So we'll start with that here. Like I said, I went with the original release of an album. Some albums, came out in a certain country a certain year, not another year later, maybe in USA or Canada. I don't know. There, we are from Canada here, by the way. So I'm gonna go with the original release. Who cares about the dates, really? This is about the year here. So anyway, I'm doing this tonight. I'm in a good mood. Finally, the Red Blacks won their first game of the season. So first of all, let's cheers to that here. They're 1-6. Yeah, so whatever. I like my Red Blacks here. So all right. So again, this is not a ranking, but it'll be the best year. And I'll tell you which. This is, again, albums that I own from that specific year. So, in the 70s, I've gone with the best year I find would be, drum roll, 1976. And I will show you what I have in my collection regarding 1976. Some hard rock, some soft rock, some heavy metal. You'll see what I have here. So again, this is just what I own here. So I'm going to start off with this, what I have on CDs here. Judas Priest, Sad Wings of Destiny. Here, I'll take it off so you can get a better. Not my favorite Judas Priest album, but I know it's critically acclaimed. I will be doing a Priest ranking eventually there. But yeah, 1976 came out with Judas Priest, considered by many to be a stepping stone into heavy metal and one of their greatest albums here. So here we go. 1976 also had the self-titled from the band Stars. Do I like Stars? No, not really. They're okay. This is their best album, if you ask me there, but it is what it is. They have 4 albums. I got 4 there are 4 albums. So anyway, Stars is there also. Not my favorite album by this guy, but again, 1976 came out with Sammy Hagar's first solo album after he left Montrose. 9 on a 10 scale. It's okay there. It's got some decent songs. Again, far from being my favorite from here. I'll take it off so you can get a better look at the cover. There we go. Yeah, he's got some better albums in his solo career, but like I said, still a good year. I still have everything that Sammy has done. So, and another album coming out this year. All right, this is where it gets confusing here. So these were released in Australia, apparently, according to Google. So I'm going to put both of these here at the same time. So I'm talking about AC/DC, High Voltage and Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. So these were released apparently in Australia. Again, according to Wikipedia or Google, whatever there. I did the best I could here. Correct me if I'm wrong in the years there. But these two, I know this one came out a lot later in the US or Canada. But this is, we all know this is sort of their first one there. But anyway, AC/DC High Voltage and AC/DC Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. I always did, as a kid, I always did love the album cover for this year. So here's the back end with just the blackout marks here. All right, now comes the what I have on vinyl. And there's quite a few, so I'll try to go through this as fast as I can here. Canada's own Max Webster came out with their self-titled album here, just entitled Max Webster. I do like this album a lot here. There's got I've done an episode on Max Webster, so check it out there for more details on this album here. But here we go, Max Webster. They're self-titled. Never talked about this band, and I probably will be doing a ranking episode eventually. Montrose. I love this album cover. Jump on It. Yeah, that's exactly what you thought it is. And here's the back. I think I would have loved this album cover if it would have been made in 2000s or something. There, probably not much of a bathing suit here. That's not bad here. So Montrose, Jump on It. I've got all the albums so far. So here we go. This is the first time I've mentioned this album on this channel here, and I'm sure I will be talking about this one. One of my favorite albums of all time. I'm talking about Rainbow Rising. With Ronnie James Dio, Richie Blackmore, Jimmy Bain, Cozy Powell. Like this, I remember buying this because I loved Dio at the time, and I'm like, oh, he was in Rainbow. This is pre-internet. And then I heard Stargazer. I'm like, holy fuck, what a brilliant, epic song that is. And I love... Oh, this is, again, another album cover by Ken Kelly, which I talked about on my last episode, I believe. From the Ace Frehley episode. This one's another one of his album covers. So rest in peace, Ken Kelly. But Rainbow Rising, this is such a good heavy metal, hard rock, heavy metal, borderline album here. Such a great album here. Next up, Canada's own Rush with 2112. This is the album that started them going this way here. Let's see what there is inside here. Not much, just the lyrics and that one guy. But yeah, here's Rush 2112, another great album here. Okay, first time I've talked about this guy here. Will I do an episode of... He's got so many albums that I... Not even gonna... It'll probably be a 3-parter if I ever get all his albums here. I'm talking about Frank Zappa, Zoot Allures. Only a few years ago did I realize that Zoot Allures means... Zoot alors, like it's a French saying. But said by an English person here. So Frank Zappa, Zoot Allures. Miss Pinky's on this here. The Torture Never Stops. I remember my sister coming over. This was playing The Torture. It's got lots of moanings and groanings in that song there. Yeah, Zappa, Zoot Allures. Another great one from 1976. I do not own the original cover or the original version of this album, nor do I intend to. When I show you the album, you'll be like, oh yeah, I get it now. The Scorpions, Virgin Killer. We all know what the original album cover looked like. Talk about great album though. The music is actually very good on this here. So Scorpions, Virgin Killer. I mean, not the best album cover either, but trust me, it's better than the original. If you're curious to see how the album cover, the original one looks like, I mean, if you're willing to Google Scorpions, Virgin Killer, prepubescent, naked young girl, go ahead. Let me know what the government says when they knock on your door. So anyway, Scorpions, Virgin Killer. Here we go. I've talked about this band on my channel again before, but the first album from Canada's Triumph, I did not like this album at first. Then when that rock documentary came out, I re-listened to everything, and I'm like, wow, I've started to re-appreciate Triumph for what they really are here. A great, great power trio. There's not just Rush in Canada here. There's also Triumph, which was very popular at the time. So I'm putting Triumph's first album, 1976, again. Cheers again. There you go, and it's not loud enough. All right, a band I haven't talked about yet here. I don't have all their albums yet. It's a rock, but I'm talking about Styx, Crystal Ball. I do love Styx a lot. I will be having an episode of them eventually once I get everything bought. I'm just missing a few. But, yeah, here we go. Crystal Ball. A good start to their little uphill conquering of the world, I guess, there. So Styx, Crystal Ball is here too. I'll be talking about them eventually another time. I've talked about this band here on my channel before. I've done a ranking. Led Zeppelin, Presence. So, not my favorite by them, but of course, there we go. But I find it's one of their better ones there. But anyway, Presence, Led Zeppelin, 1976 also. Haven't mentioned these guys. I only own this one album by them, just because of that one song. You'll see why. Kansas Leftoverture. There you go. Yeah. Of course, this has "Carry On My Wayward Son" or "Carry On Wayward Son" is the name of the song, but "Carry On My Wayward Son" is what they sing in the. It's actually a pretty decent album, actually. So Kansas Leftoverture is also a good 1976 album. So there you go. All right. Back when bands used to do 2 albums a year. So, which was unheard of at the time. And of course, it's my favorite band. I'm talking about Kiss. Destroyer came out early 1976. This is considered by most their best album because it's got all the hits. You know, Detroit Rock City, Beth, Shout It Out Loud. Anyway, it's a very good album. Not my favorite by Kiss, but again, very good one. This is the before you tell me that's not one from the 76. Well, you know what? Because I have the vinyl, this is the resurrected version there with that was re-released a couple of years ago there. Again, with Ken Kelly doing the artwork, and this is the original artwork of what Destroyer should have looked like. So Kiss Destroyer. And of course, like I said, a couple of albums per year. Well, Kiss did release my favorite Kiss album, which is Rock and Roll Over. I love this album to death. My favorite song of all time, Calling Dr. Love, is on this album also. So here we go. Kiss, Rock and Roll All Over. Rock and Roll Over. Another 1976 gem right there. Okay, these guys, I've started to get into them. I've always liked them there, but I'm only missing 2 albums now to complete a collection, so stay tuned for not maybe, there will be a ranking episode of this band here. UK's Genesis, A Trick of the Tail. I actually did enjoy this album quite a lot. No, there's nothing great in here. But Genesis, A Trick of the Tail. And same thing with Kiss. How about 2 albums by Genesis in the same year? Which was followed by Wind and Wuthering. So these are actually I mean, let's. I'm gonna save it for my Genesis episode one day there. So here we go. Wind and Wuthering. I'm not gonna tell you if I do like it or not yet. So this is a greatest hits, but still came out in 1976. Another Canadian band. Bachman Turner Overdrive, the BTO, the best of BTO so far. I love the title of the album because I don't think I've heard a hit after this. So I guess should have been titled The Best of BTO, That's It, or That's All. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm missing. But anyway, I do like this is a greatest hits, by the way, there. It's the best of BTO so far. Bachman Turner Overdrive. Here we are. One band that. Okay, well, first of all, I've been talking a lot here. You tell I'm a little hyper from the wind there. Huh? So, yeah, again, this band here didn't own a thing until last summer. Here I am owning everything, and I'm thinking like they're one of the better bands out there in my collection. Talking about Blue Oyster Cult, Agents of Fortune. This one's got the infamous, or the famous, Don't Fear the Reaper. But there's more to Blue Oyster Cult. Trust me on this than just that one song. So, Blue Oyster Cult, Agents of Fortune. Another 1976 gem. And last one on the list, my second favorite artist, or band after Kiss, Alice Cooper Goes to Hell. I friggin' love this album. You guys have seen my Alice Cooper ranking episode. This is pretty high up here. So this is why. So here we go. Alice Cooper Goes to Hell is what finalizes the year of 1976. So this is part one, I guess. I'm not sure we're going to do part two right away. We'll see. I'm on vacation this week anyway. So there will be an 80s episode, a 90s episode, a 2010s episode, and a... Well, there won't be a 2020s episode because we're only in 2022. But yeah, I'll be doing the one coming up next will be the 80s, and that one will be actually tough. I'm thinking 82, but we'll see. I'm thinking 80, but like I said, I haven't done any research yet as to what came out. But we'll see next episode if I'm correct in my assumption. So tell me if you like this type of idea here. The best year, like I said, or your favorite albums that, or the best year in music, I guess. I wasn't going to do the best year in music, period. Maybe one day after all this is done, maybe look at 1976 and then the best of, and then decide what is the absolute best year ever when it comes to music. But not until I do all the decades first there. So 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s. Yeah, there's 4 more to go, I guess. Yeah. So anyway, let me know if I missed some, or like I said, I looked at, again, like I said, I've been looking at Google. Did I miss some that you know that I own? But yeah, anyway, this is so far. And I'm not even sure if I own that much 60s music, but I'll come back to it. I'll look at my the 60s list and see if I have enough albums to make an episode out of it. We'll see. Maybe I actually do have some albums that in the 60s that I own. But we'll see there. So next up, I'm not sure if it's going to be... Well, we'll see. We'll see if the next episode will be the 80s. But so far, my favorite year of the 70s is 1976. Let me know what your favorite year in music was in the 70s. And then we shall discuss further, next episode maybe, for the 80s. Or whatever decade I decide to do there. We'll see if I go backwards. I'll check after this episode to see if there's any 60s stuff that I just doubt it there. I don't think there's that much. I know I own some, but are they all in the same year or whatnot? Anyway, we'll see. So anyway, on that note, first of all, thanks for watching. Thank you for subscribing if you haven't done so already. Please click like or tell your friends about this. Actually enjoyed doing the research of this. It's not like the other episodes where I just go and pick a band and then I look through it and I'm trying, okay, I like this one better and blah blah blah. This one had a little bit of research to go through it there. So thanks, Steph, for the homework on my vacation. So anyway, on that note, thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. Tell your friends, and we shall see you on the next episode regarding my favorite year of the 80s. Have yourself a good one, guys, and go Red Blacks.